We're going to begin our first lesson on intervals. Intervals is the distance between two notes, usually the root note of a scale or a chord, to a higher note. For these examples, I'm going to be using the A on the 5th fret of the E string as my root note. I'm also going to use the A at the 14th fret of the G string to show you the examples on the B string. The B string is tuned differently than the rest of the guitar. It's up a half step. So the interval shapes change by a half step. Let's begin with the minor second. It is 1 fret above the root. That is a minor second, also known as a half step. Those terms are interchangeable. Now, if we come up here, it is a 3 fret stretch. I got my pinky on the A at the 14th fret and my first finger on the B string at the 11th fret, and that is also a minor second. Next is the major second, and it is 2 frets above the root, playing it from the first finger. Looks like that. You could also play it from the second finger. And you could play it from the 4th finger by going up a string. In this case, it's a 3 fret stretch down the neck, and it's going up to the A string. You'll notice you have to really get this pinky arched and up to clear that A string. So it's a kind of a tougher interval to play. You got to really work on that one. If you come up here and play the A on the 14th fret of the G string and use your second finger, it is a 2 fret stretch. I don't know if you can see that, right? There's my root on the pinky, and then my second finger is making the major second. Now, the major second is also known as a whole step. Again, those terms are interchangeable. Any 2 fret distance is also a whole step. Next, we have the minor third. That is a 3 fret stretch up from the root note, playing it with the first finger. There's your minor third. It could also be played from the second finger, and it's a 2 fret stretch downward and 1 string above. If we come up here and play it on the B string, I'm going to play the root note with my 4th finger and the minor third with my 3rd finger on the B string, 1 fret above. And there's your minor third. A major third is a 4 fret stretch. Not a lot of people use this one. You can. It's still a major third. Some people like to do 3 note per string scales. I tend to really, when I play major thirds, I like to use this version, starting with the second finger on the root, the first finger 1 fret below, and 1 string above. There's a major third right there. Now, if we come up here to the 14th fret, I'm just going to use 1 finger, play the root note on the G string, and then 1 string above. There's your major third. 1 string above onto the B. Next is the perfect fourth. The 4th and the 5th notes of the scale have no major or minor qualities, so they're called perfect fourth. The perfect fourth is 1 string above, same fret as the root note. That's your perfect fourth. If we come up here, I'm going to go ahead and use my first finger on the root and second finger 1 fret above, 1 string above. And there's your perfect fourth. Next is the 5th And that's if I have my root with my first finger. It's a 2-fret stretch, 1 string up. And that is your perfect fifth. It can also be played with the second finger. It can also be played with the fourth finger, the same as we did with the major second, but we're going to skip a string. And I'm going to go from the E string to the D string. And that's another perfect fifth. If I come up here and play this root with my pinky, it is a 3-fret stretch up and 1 string above. I don't know if you can see that. There's the root. And then I'm using my pinky to play. Try to get it on camera. There we go. 3 frets up, 1 string up, and there's your fifth. Perfect fifth. Okay, now we're going to look at the minor sixth. It is another 3-fret stretch, but 1 string up. So our root, minor sixth. We can also play it from the second finger. In this case, it's a 2-fret stretch downward, and we're skipping a string, going from the E string to the D string. If we come up here, I'm going to play the root with my second finger, and I'm going to play the minor sixth with my first finger. It's 1 fret down, 2 strings up. There's the minor sixth up there. Next is the major sixth, and we could play it as a 4-fret stretch, 1 string up. Or we could play it with the second finger, 1 fret down, 2 strings up, skipping a string. So there's a major sixth right there. If we come up here, I'm going to use my first finger on the root, and it's going to be the same fret, but 2 strings up. So there's your major sixth right there. Next we have the minor seventh, and it is just like we just did with the sixth up here. It is the same fret, 2 strings up. So we're going to skip a string. There's your minor seventh. Play it from the first finger. You can also play it from the second finger using the third finger. We're skipping a string. Play that minor second right there. Try to give you a better view of it. If we come up here and we play the root with our first finger, it's going to be 1 fret up, 2 strings up. There's the minor seventh up there. The major seventh is 1 fret up, 2 strings up from the root. You can also play that with our second finger, with the third finger on the major seventh. If we come up here and play the root with our first finger, it's going to be 2 frets up, 2 strings up. And then finally we have our octave, which is the root repeating itself 7 notes higher. So here's the root, and it's a 2-fret stretch, 2 strings up, so we're skipping a string, and there's the octave, same note. We can play it from the second finger, and we can play it from the fourth finger, the same way we did the major second and perfect fifth, but we're going to skip 2 strings, going from the E string to the G string. If we come up here and play the root with our first finger, it's going to be a 3-fret stretch, you got to use my pinky, and 2 strings up. So those are your intervals.